next thing is, what do we do with our attention? How are we doing that?
Win. What's important now?
Winning moments, right. Yeah, present, right? Aiming your attention. You can even think of attention as like a spotlight on your forehead. Okay, you can shine it outwardly, right? You can even flip it around and shine it inwardly on thoughts, right? But then think about, hey, this spotlight maybe has like a lens, like a camera, and I can spread it out inwardly or outwardly on a lot of things. That might not be the right type of attention for the task at hand, though. Maybe all of a sudden I get the ball and it's just me and the goalie, or I'm the goalie and it's me and the shooter. I can't be focusing on a lot of things. I'm focusing on one thing. Right? So what happens with your attention, even if it's present, is it shifts a lot. Because you can't be rigid with your attention. You need to be able to be flexible and adaptable in the moment. Right? So it's really important to sort of work at that skill. It's not necessarily something you're always born with, especially given different types of tasks, even different types of sports. You have to work at it. The only way to work at it is learn, hey, when do I need to get out of my own head? Just be out here. Right? Like, for example, there's studies shown that, you know, if you get too caught up in your head, you're thinking too much, you might get in the way of learning, motor learning, right? So sometimes, and this is, you know, part of the way you even train, even though, you know, practice is supposed to be messy, right? You're supposed to be able to make mistakes in practice so that you know what are the boundaries that I can and can't do, so then when I get to the game, I'm not going to make the same mistakes. But in practice, maybe you should start training external rather than overthinking things, even though you start slow to learn new skills, coming over your hips, for example, shot blocking angles, all these kinds of things, right? Maybe it's like, all right, I'm just going to get myself there, and I'm blocking that, right? So my focus is out here, rather than, okay, I need to move my hips at this angle, slide this far, get up kind of like, okay, maybe like 4 feet out of the water. No, that's a lot of thinking, right? So in order to improve, and what happens too is sometimes when you do that much thinking, your body's like, right? Instead of like, right? So if you train these kinds of things, like gaining your attention, right, in the moment, on things that you're working towards doing, then you get rid of a lot of the extra thinking that might slow your body down a little bit. So basically, you get out of your body, you get your mind out of your body's way. Okay. And then lastly, what did we just talk about in terms of? Yeah, what is that for? Yeah, those are a lot of cool words. What does that mean? Huh? Yeah, how do you breathe? So something I didn't talk about was actually how to breathe. I said you gotta breathe, but I didn't say how to breathe, right? In general, you want to try and do a diaphragmatic breath, right? What's your diaphragm?
In the middle, muscle under your lungs. So here.
Kind of. It's this parachute-like thing right at the bottom of your ribs that kind of holds in a lot of different organs and stuff inside, right? So when you breathe and try and expand that diaphragm, you're also expanding your lungs and you're getting a deeper, full breath. And it's doing a lot more. They're sending signals up to that emotional center of your brain that, hey, we're good, we're in control. But try it. Breathe in through your nose, if you will, and expand your stomach with air. And then all the way out. Good. And then something that you might notice is your breath is broken into a couple parts. What are the parts that you can break your breath down into? Inhale and exhale. You can even add a pause in between those, right? So, think about this. What happens when I accentuate the exhale. What happens if I make the exhale a lot longer than the inhale?
You have more reps.
Your sign.
What happened to my body?
It deflated.
Yeah, actually got like deflated, got a little smaller, right? And I also got a little bit calmer. It's the neurological effect your breath has, right? It's a parasympathetic taking over. You guys can feel it. Okay? But then what happens when I focus on the inhale? What happened to my body?
It went up like a hot air balloon.
Got bigger, right? Blew up, right? And if you think about like animal instincts, how much of a threat did I appear as?
Like a big beast.
I got bigger, right? So there's actually a piece of this that's connected to your ancient brain. But in general, when you need to find more, like you need to feel more pumped up, you need to be feel more powerful and more energized, focus on your inhale, because it gets you into this more activated state, right? More sympathetic state. When I need to calm down, when I need to relax, maybe I need to gain control over my thoughts, right? It's a different part of your brain, by the way, than the one that's activated, okay? Then I need to focus on my exhale. Does that make sense? And usually when you make a mistake, you probably usually need to focus on letting it out. Because that'll help you then bring in that next thing. What's an affirmation? What's that example of? Yes, good. Self-talk, compliment, motivation, right? Getting yourself, pumping yourself up mentally. What do you think? Good. And then release. I shared a few examples, but what do you guys think are some examples of like a release? What would you need to do? Punch the water? That might not always be a good
Punch someone. Punch a person.
But maybe you can go under the water for a split second and yell. Right? While you're swimming to defense. Right? What are you releasing?
Anger, frustration.
A bunch of anger.
You're basically releasing the stress of the moment. And so sometimes it helps to actually do something physically within the bounds of what's acceptable. Right? So, you know, like on team sport, or I mean land sports, sorry, you might see guys like, right? Or, you know, or like in basketball, some of them use this as a strategy, like wiping their sneakers, right?
Yeah.
Trying to wipe it off, right? In water polo too, this is something you might think about, wiping the top of the water, wiping it off, right? Or wiping the slip clean, right? The water is great too, because you can put your head underwater and you can yell and no one hears it. Or you can do whatever. You can put your head down and take 2 hard strokes and you're moving in the right direction to the next play, so you can get the next play faster. But you're also letting go of something. Make sure you get your head up after those first 3 strokes so you can see where you need to go. Right? But what's the point? You have to figure out something, whether it's a plan and a strategy that works for you to put in practice. You hear that? You haven't practiced it and all of a sudden you bring it into the most important moment of your career, well, chances are is you're going to be trying to work so hard on figuring this thing out that you're going to lose track of a lot of other stuff too. So you have to practice these things. These are mental skills needing practice just like the physical skills. Okay? And then ultimately, what are you trying to reset to? What are you resetting?
The snowball.
Yes, what's that? What's going into the present?
Your attention.
You said it. Attention. Yes. Attention, right? Well, I worked with a sports psychologist when I was on the national team. And he's this like little Austrian dude. And a lot of times I can't understand what he's saying. But he had a presence about him, and he was always like pretty intense, but his whole focus was on mindfulness-based training, right? What he said is your attention is the currency of performance. It's the thing that adds value to what you do. Right? It's like your money maker, your attention. If you're focused on the wrong things at a certain time, guess where your body goes?
The wrong thing.
Yes. If you're focused on the right things at the right times, guess where your body goes?
To the right places.
Yes. And remember, it needs to also be with the right intensity. Right? That's motivation. Right? With the right effort. Because then you can start to build those confidence snowballs. Right? You can start bringing momentum in your favor. And while you may make mistakes because you're going for it, hey, you can reset and get going again. That's the nature of sports. That's actually the nature of a lot of things in life, to be honest.
Coach, I have a question. Can you talk a little bit about the difference in perspective of teams building? If your perspective is on how do I make the team better versus myself, the I versus the we part of things. It seems like it's easier to bounce back and focus on the we. If you focus on the we, you can get bogged down and it makes it hard to bounce back quickly.
Yeah, you can't do it all by yourself. Yeah, that's the benefit of having a team too, is you can lean on each other. So, I didn't get into all this with motivation, but there's three basic needs that everybody has to produce intrinsic motivation. One of them is the feeling like you're in control or you have a choice, right? And that's kind of built around the climate that you create within your team, right? Because a lot of times too, you may not be able to trust a teammate if you haven't really like nurtured that and built that relationship over time, which is really important, and culture plays a big role in that. But the feeling like you have choice. The second one that's really important is kind of what you're talking about, is connection and relatedness. And if you feel like you guys connect on some level and are related, not just within the social spheres, but also within the game, right? Like you're like, I like the way you give me that pass, or yeah, we counter really well together, or we defend, and we communicate well on the water and certain things, right? Then that tends to boost motivation too, and that's kind of part of that we versus me mentality, right? It's like, how can we find ways to connect and do things better together, maybe better than we've ever done them before together, right? And then the last thing is continuing to find ways to learn and know and gain knowledge, competence, right? But it's all interconnected, and that sort of stuff takes time. Trust, the thing about trust is it takes a long time to build, but an instant to break. And then a lot of times too, people don't give you a second chance, you're trying to continue to find that again, so you can trust again, or you get trusted. And it depends too, like, one, are you capable? Two, are you believable? And you actually follow up what you say. Three, are you credible? Do you have a track history of being the example, right? And four, are you dependable? This is where I screwed up today. You show up on time. Right? We call that the ABCDs of trust. Reliable, believable, capable, and dependable. And obviously you're hearing like there's a lot more than vanilla stuff, but going back to simplicity, I think if you take away one or two things from tonight, that makes us a win, right? We're winning this moment. So, I brought these note cards, and there's some pencils there. I see. I don't know if you guys have any more. I have a few more.
Yeah, there's one. Digger.
Oh. But I'd like you all to just take a few moments. Here, take half of this. Take a few moments and write down like your main big takeaways. Like, what did you guys hear? What did you guys learn from me or each other that's going to be able to be applied to help you be better than you were before? We need more time.
Wait, one more. You know, I learned when you are releasing that energy to do anything that's within reason.
Yeah, but
Does anyone else need something to write with?
That's what I'm saying.
What do you need? Pencil?
Here's a pen.
Oh, cool.
Hey, Gustavo, I'm using your guy.
You're writing down what are the main things that you take away that you could apply for your own game and for the team. Just for you.
Yeah.
What time is it now?
Nate, so funny.
Alright, you guys almost hear people talking, so I usually think you're done.
That's what all the teachers say.
It's for you. You can write your name on it if you want to.
Yeah. Well, they're always like, I'm not like every other teacher. I'm not going to sign homework every day. I'm not one of those teachers. That's every single teacher. No, it's
My government teacher had done one thing in my class. He was supposed to take a test 4 weeks ago, but he just gave us all A's instead.
and then when they always ask,
Alright. Alright. So, what's the point of writing that one thing down? What's the point of writing one or two takeaways down?
because when you write it down, you remember it.
Yes. Well, you're not quite there, muscle memory yet. Maybe. You have to practice it, right? but the point is that it's pretty hard to remember everything, right? That's why you take notes in class. And also, sometimes when you get it out of your mind and on paper, you have a different perspective on things. So that's why I highly recommend you guys continuing to write things down that you learn along the way as you keep practicing and training and going through different things, right? Because it gives you perspective, it takes the thoughts out of your mind and allows your mind some freedom to think about what you're actually thinking about. Right? And it allows you to maybe like get some of that cognitive load, some of that stress off of your brain. Because now it's on paper. And lastly, too, hopefully you guys remember some of the takeaways so you can put them in action. There's no point in talking about all this stuff if you can't work at it. And you're going to fail. Trust me, you're going to make mistakes and you're not going to understand sometimes. But persistence, perseverance, those are the things that give you success over the long term. Right? This grit factor. Okay? So, I'll stick around for a few minutes. I brought some cards here. It's not, my contact's not on. There's a website on here and you can connect with me through there. But we started a podcast as well as there's a mental training app that we have here, right? So the podcast is pretty cool. We have 2 episodes now and we're going to do it monthly, but we're getting athletes, we interview them about their story and we connect it to different categories of mental training, whether it be resilience or motivation, or focus, nerves and emotions, self-awareness, all these different things, right? And then we, with my partner and I, we debrief at the end on now how do you apply what you just heard in terms of mental training. So come up and grab a card if you'd like.
And then Brian, really quick, can you tell them your story really quick about the Olympics? Because that's awesome. Or the training thing, like what happened and how you overcame it? Cause...
Yeah, I can share that.
Okay.
So,
sorry.
maybe I should ask you guys, since a lot of people are coming up to me recently for some reason. How many of you guys saw the Navy SEALs video of them?
Oh, Navy SEAL.
U.S. water polo is
Oh,
You guys know that was filmed like 11 years ago?
You're so old.
So, you know, that year, well, first of all, I mean, my national team story goes.
yeah,
first
that
on
one. That was good.
But, you know, I grew up in Orange County. I grew up in the SoCal Water Polo Club. And yeah, you usually get that too. Those guys. You're one of those guys. Well, I was kind of a late bloomer in a lot of respects in terms of water polo. Even though I was bigger, I wasn't always like looked at as one of the best players on the team. In fact, through high school, my coach chose to keep me on frost soft for my first 2 years rather than bring me up with the other guys in my class to varsity for playoffs. And like we would compete again, like my freshman year, we played in the finals at CIF in Orange County against Long Beach Wilson with Tony and all those guys. So we were always like neck and neck with those types of teams. But then finally, when I did get called up, right, my junior year, I immediately, I don't know what happened over that summer, but all of a sudden, like, I shot up right into a starting role, and I was a center then. And so I was riding a high, and I was just in it. I was constantly trying to work on things and improve. And then that summer, I learned about national team tryout, a youth team tryout. So I did the zone thing, and it's a little bit smaller than an ODP is now. But you do the zone thing, and then that actual tryout was out at the Naval Academy. And so we traveled out to the Naval Academy, had a little tournament, and I remember sitting there in the stands, listening to them read the list off of who made the A team for that was going to travel to Europe that summer for a bunch of tournaments and stuff. And I was like, all right, I played really well. I felt good about it, and I didn't hear my name. You know, you go through the names, you're like, okay, I don't hear my name yet. I wonder, oh, it's getting long. Let's get long. You start to feel nervous and anxious, right? And they didn't call my name, and I was so mad. But then I heard my name for the next list, barely, because I was so pissed. But the B team, right? The B team got to go to Santa Barbara and play in this tournament with some European teams. And yeah, I was really mad at first, and pretty disappointed, and thought they totally made a mistake. But eventually, I got over it, and I decided, well, screw that. I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna focus on killing it in Santa Barbara. And I did. I ended up playing really well. It wasn't just because of what I determined to do. It was kind of like a lot of things, right? But I did really well this tournament in Santa Barbara, and I didn't realize, but you know, the UCSB coach was there watching, and I ended up getting MVP of that tournament, and that's the first time he saw me play, and he started recruiting me from that tournament. So that was a huge opportunity I could have never seen, and I probably never would have received if I approached it a little bit differently. So then the next year, had a good senior year. We actually made it again to CI finals. Tony had already gone to college, thankfully. He was a year older than me. But we ended up beating Long Beach Wilson in the semis, and then played Newport Harbor. We ended up losing in CI finals, but had a great senior year. The next summer, I tried out again for the youth team, and they selected me for the A team that year. It was great. Went to Europe for the first time in my life, and then went into high school, got that immediate reality check of now you're no longer at the top of the totem pole, you drop immediately to the bottom, and you don't matter at all, no matter how good you are. I went to UCSB, so they weren't by any means like one of the top teams, but you know, I was fighting for playing time. But then that next summer, I made it on the junior team as I aged up, and we went to Russia on one of our trips. And it was the year before, so the World Championship happens at the junior level. It happens every 2 years. And it was the year before the World Championship. So we went to Russia, and a few guys, we decided that we had a half day off, and we decided to go out in Red Square and try some vodka. It didn't end so well. Long story short, we ended up getting kicked off the junior team. And I vividly remember in the hotel, like sobbing, having to hand my uniform and my warm-ups back to the coach, and getting sent home early. And that year, I came back to the UCSB. Training camp was fine. Playing our first game, we played horribly against Pepperdine. Came back at a party, and I got in a fight with my teammate. And coach found out, and he kicked me off of the UCSB team. And so, at that moment, I was like in an all-time low, right? I had to figure out, what am I going to do? Am I going to transfer? Am I going to ever play on water polo here again? They're not talking to me. How am I going to go about this? My grades were kind of struggling too, so I had to figure out, how am I going to stay in school? So I had to really make a lot of big life decisions as like a 19-year-old. And I ended up deciding, look, I'm going to make a deal with my coach. I'm going to go in every week, see if he'll agree to this. I'm going to set 3 goals that I'm going to accomplish that week, both for school and for my own training. I couldn't train with the team. I had to go to the rec center and go lift on my own and go swim, figure out my own swim sets. I didn't have any training partners, so I did that every week. So we would review what I did the week before and then set 3 new goals for the next week. And so I did this all throughout the season, right? I kicked off the team after the first game of the year, and we did this all throughout the season for 2.5 months, every week. And then by the end of the year, we finally saw the progress that I was making and decided to let me back on the team right before the conference championships to play the last 2 games. And then that next summer, I went and begged the junior team coach to let me have a tryout. We heard kind of what had happened, and he let me come back to the junior team. I led the junior team in scoring that summer world championships. And then just slowly, I was just working my way back into play, but in a different way. It wasn't so much about taking things for granted now that I'd risen. It was more of how am I going to take the next step based on where I was now? How am I going to get things aligned, like school? How am I going to structure my days? Right? How am I going to approach everything? So that's kind of the story until Olympic years came around, and I played in 4 world championships in the senior level. So 05, 07, 09, and 2011. But I was the last one cut for 2008 and 2012 overall. So again, another moment of failure, right? Like after the 2012 games, it hurt a lot. You can't get around that as human. It's gonna suck. But I decided, what am I gonna do? And so by that time I was married, and I had already developed this passion through sports psychology, and so I just decided, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to hang it up, and I'm going to start helping other people kind of reach their potential.
Hey, and we're so happy you did. How about a big round of applause for Brian?
Thank you, Brian.
Woohoo! Thank you.